time for movies on rock and roll football. It's Meet Me in the Foyer with Linda Marrick and Jawa.
Meet Me in the Foyer.
Ready?
Ready?
Steady?
Steady?
Go! And we're off into another episode, and thank you again for lining up to meet me in the foyer. This week, we're all feeling hale and hearty and ready to bring you more wonderful movie news, the box office top 10, a classic movie review from myself, plus, ready or not, I'm going to project that Linda is going to share 2 new film reviews with you. So, how are you, Linda?
Tired, and I have really bad hay fever, so do forgive me if I sound really sort of bugged up.
It's that time of the year, unfortunately, isn't it? It's
yeah.
arrived
How
already.
are you?
Not
Have you
bad,
had a good
actually.
week? Yeah.
Yes, pretty good. Yeah, I'm just loving the fact that there's finally some sun. It's dry. You know, I know it brings the hay fever, but you know.
No, it's horrible.
And was I right? Are you bringing us 2 film reviews this week?
I am bringing 2 films this week. Yes, I am bringing a review of the second film of what we might call a mini franchise of Ready or Not. And the second one's called Ready or Not, Here I Come. And I will be reviewing the mighty Project Hail Mary starring Ryan Gosling.
Very nice. Very good. And on top of that, we'll be taking a look at the results of our predictions for the 2026 Academy Awards held just last weekend. Who came out on top in the awards? And more importantly, who came out on top between myself and Linda predicting the winners? Yes, we look forward to that. But why don't we begin, as we like to do, with the box office top 10.
Meet Me in the Foyer.
And in the box office top 10, as it stands, as we record, at number 10, making a return to the top 10 films at the UK box office, it's The Secret Agent. It's been out for...
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's had a bit of a kick from the awards, I think.
Ah, fabulous. That's what I like to hear.
And I look forward to catching it myself soon, hopefully. It's made 1.1 million at the box office, which for a foreign language film is pretty good. I would conjecture.
Just wonderful movie, like a very, very surreal and obscure and sort of, you know, bit out there, but in a really good way. You know?
And if you want to hear Linda's review, you can catch that on one of our previous episodes. Just above that, dropping a tad in the box office ranking this week, it's The Bride! Reviewed by Linda on a previous show. That's Maggie Gyllenhaal's monster movie that's been out for 2 weeks now, I believe, and has made 1.2 million at the box office.
Oh, yeah, very far from its 80 million.
Yes, it's somewhat short.
Pretty bad. I mean, I don't know what the global box office is, but yeah, it's not looking good.
No. But looking good for the king of rock and roll. At number 8, it's Elvis Epic. That's been out for 3 weeks now, and that's made 3.3 million, which for a documentary I would suggest is pretty good.
Incredible, really, yeah. I mean, it just goes to show that there will always be Elvis fans whatever age they are, and I think that the film starring Austin Butler also created some new fans, new younger fans. So yeah, I'm pleased that's doing well.
And above that, another one I think has pleased Linda in its success. It's Goat, that's been out 5 weeks and has made £12.5 million at the UK box office.
Bloody hell.
Very impressive.
Very impressive.
Should have had shares in that one.
Yeah.
Less impressed were myself and Linda, but you guys have been pouring the money into its purse. At number 6, it's Scream 7. It's been out for 3 weeks and has made £7.1 million. And you can hear Linda's review on a previous episode of Meet Me in the Foyer. And actually, I'll mention Scream 7. I'll mention Scream, actually, again later in the show. Above that, a film that feels like it's been around for absolutely ages now. It's Wuthering Heights. At number 5, it's been out for 5 weeks and has made a hugely impressive 24 million. But week on week, it's making smaller and smaller increments. So I imagine that.
Yeah, but that's normal, I'd say. But
absolutely.
Actually, I'm quite impressed by how well it's done, especially from the sort of the reaction from some critics, not all of them, but some critics really took against it. I didn't. I quite liked it. But yeah, for me, it's unusual enough, and it's a movie like a very sort of ballsy move by a female film director, and if it does well at the box office, that's all that matters, and it's not boring, at least,
Absolutely, they're definitely not boring. Above that, is divisive the right word? I'm not sure. At number 4, Mother's Pride, the new British comedy from the makers of Fisherman's Friends.
Haven't seen it. Can't help you there.
Are you going to see it?
No.
No, fair enough. I know I will, but maybe when it's out of cinemas. And that's been out a fortnight and made 2 million, which is a wonderful take, I would suggest, for a film that size. Above that, number 3, it's How to Make a Killing. It's first week on release. It was reviewed by Linda last week, if you want to catch that. And it's already made 1 million in its first week in the UK box office, of which part of that take is my own money. I went to see it last Saturday, and I'm sorry, Linda, I want a refund.
Did you not like it?
I thought it was almost a definition of meh. It's just I don't see the point of remaking. I'm not against remakes, but now I've seen it, it doesn't add anything to Kind Hearts and Coronets apart from updates it and takes out parts of the plot that were interesting, But,
okay.
I
didn't think it was brilliant. I just liked it. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was a completely disastrous endeavor. I thought it was well acted, and I found it very entertaining, and I loved the way it looked. I just I was kind of like, I wasn't disappointed by it, put it this way.
I think what confused me slightly about it was it takes a lot from the original, but one of the bits it leaves out is introducing the characters. So he's killing off members of his family that some of which he hasn't introduced until he's killing them off. And the original was very good at telling you who was involved, showing you the family tree, not only in pictorial form, but also there are scenes with them actually all in the same place at the same time. And this, it was like victim number 3, he just goes, here's whoever, and you think, who the hell's this? He's not introduced this character before. So there were bits like that which did confuse me, I have to say. But,
fair enough.
Not terrible.
I'm just going to take these. I don't know can you still hear me?
Oh, it's even better now. Yes.
Okay, good. Sorry.
That's all right. You're back in the room.
I was worried that it was a bit tinny, so okay.
No, much better. Thank you. So moving on to number 2, it's another one that you can catch a review from Linda on a previous episode last week, I think it was. I lose track. It's Reminders of Him, which again is on its first week on the release and has also made £1 million.
What can I say? There is no telling people. I could have told you that was going to do very well. Colleen Hoover, people love, especially like really young Gen Z women, like sort of fresh out of their teens and in their early 20s. They really love those kind of films because they're adapted from books they've read and they can relate to the characters, and then it does help that the cast is very good looking, and it's not for me. I just think it's pointless,
I'm sure I would agree if I would to go and see it, which I won't. Which means for the second week in the row at number 1, it's Hoppers, that has already made 7.7 million at the UK box office alone, in just a fortnight on release. So
good.
Wipes the pile of cash there for Pixar.
Yeah, very very pleased. It doesn't look like it's gonna. I don't know how well it's done globally. I would like to take a look if you don't mind.
Doc! Oh, I need your help. Mabel, I'm in the middle of class. A class that you are enrolled in.
Sup, Mabel?
Come with me. The traditional methods to understand animals just weren't working. But we've done it, Mabel. We created a revolutionary technology that gives us unprecedented access to the animal world. We call it hoppers. Huh? We put this into this. Yes, this into this. Mabel, be careful!
This here will rock your body.
Whoa. And they were in the same den.
No.
I understand you.
What you doing, lady?
This is incredible!
Hey, what's your name, Beaver?
Mabel?
You want to live here, you better learn pond rules.
What are pond rules?
Oh, I am clearing the rest of the day. Let's hear it for Mabel, everyone. Rule number 1, don't be a stranger. Looking good, Fran. Tom, Laquan, Tamara, Prudence, Pete, Peter, Petey.
Yeah, it's crowded, but we're still alive.
Rule number 2, when you gotta eat, eat.
How did he get a little crown?
That's your question? Fellow animals! The humans have stolen their last inch of land from us.
There he is.
We gotta fight back!
She seems to have become a Joan of Arc type rebel leader.
Mabel, we do not use hopping technology to upset the animal world.
She found the button. The Animal Council has been summoned. The shrill beaver is right.
Yeah!
Their treachery ends here, now.
Yeah!
Let's squish the humans.
Yeah! Wait, squish? They squish us! Why shouldn't we squish one of them? I really don't think we need to go all the way to squish.
That was intense.
Everybody here getting out of control.
Over here!
Your life is in danger. You must do exactly as we say, Harry. LOL, I mean, Jerry. Drive now. Rocket ship.
Yeah, are you thinking that it's not going to take as much as Zootopia 2, sort of?
I don't know, and I so it's actually it's made its money back already in 2 weeks. So it was made for 150 million. It's made 168.7. I'd say because we have the Easter holidays coming up as well. Yeah. I'd say that's gonna do about 500 million all in all. I can't see it making more than that, but I could be wrong.
Those poor old Pixar paupers. How are they going to survive on just 500 million? Oh, poor guys.
I could be wrong. It could literally just go absolutely mental in the next couple of weeks once the kids break it off for Easter. But then there is also Arco that's out this week. So let's see.
Yeah, interesting. And it might strike a chord in China or something and go absolutely stratospheric. I'll have to wait and see. Brilliant. So yeah, that's the box office top 10 for this week.
Meet me in the foyer.
So it's review time. Are you ready for a review? Well, here comes Linda with her thoughts on Matt Betrinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett's horror sequel. Gillett, I'm not sure how that's pronounced, who's been responsible for the...
Gillett, maybe.
Oh, okay, we'll go with Gillett.
I'm going to say Gillett because that's how I thought of it.
let's agree on that then. Gillett, who's been responsible for the rebooted Scream movies, Scream 2022 and Scream 6 in 2023, but not this year's Scream 7, which didn't find favour with Linda, as we've already said. So ready or not, here comes Linda.
The game will begin.
They're coming. Oh my God.
In 5, 4, 3, 2. Do you have any questions?
Can I have a cigarette?
The heads of the council families will try to kill you and your sister. Whoever does wins the high seat and controls everything.
Everything?
The world.
You're telling me you didn't know your fiancé was in a devil cult? Listen, if you don't do exactly what I say, we are going to die.
So it begins.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if a sequel to Ready or Not was always going to face an uphill battle, it was always going to be. I don't know if you remember the original. Are you a fan of the original? Have you seen it?
I have no recollection of the original coming out.
Oh, the original is brilliant. It's like the ultimate sort of final girl horror movie with a little bit of sort of like dark humor with a added. This was like even had like an air of like Knives Out, where sort of like a bunch of posh people sort of gather in this house, and then they get taken out one after the other. So the original for me is like one of the best surprises of 2019, because I wasn't expecting anything from it, and then it turned out to be one of my favorite horrors of that year. So it was only sort of like only time that they were going to make another one, because that made quite a bit of money and it had some really good reviews, and like you can't blame them for wanting to make a second one and possibly a third one. Who knows? And I think it's open for a third one, to be honest with you. As you said, it's directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett or Gillette, wherever you want to say. So yeah, that film, I felt like it had blindsided audiences with like it was a deceptively simple story or premise, and and then it goes absolutely bonkers. Not even halfway through it, like I'd say like about a quarter of the way through it, it goes absolutely bonkers. And and Samara Weaving, I think it was her breakout role in it, and we haven't really. I feel like she should have done way more since this movie, because I remember when this came out, everyone was just, Samara Weaving's going to be brilliant. She's going to be like one of the biggest stars, and she is, and she's making more films now. But I felt like it's taken her, we're in 2026, it's taken her 7 years to sort of make this second movie. She has been in other things, but I feel like she has missed her kind of moment, sadly. So yeah, she plays Grace. She's dragged that original story. I don't know if you remember. She gets married into this really ultra rich family, like properly sort of billionaire, old money family. She's and straight after her wedding, she's taken to her new husband's ancestral home, where she's welcomed by all of his family. But the trick is hasn't just married him. She's basically been chosen as a sacrificial lamb, as it were, and then she has to. So this is an old order, like old satanic order, and every so often, or every century or something, they have to like get someone, get them to marry into the family, and then play a game where she is chased, and the person who manages to kill her takes over from the head of the family. I think that is what the premise is in the first one. I did mean to rewatch it, but I didn't really get the chance. And this one, and at the end of the last one, she is the last person to survive, because she manages to kill everyone, and then she's the last survivor, therefore the final girl. At the end of that one, we see her come out of this ancestral home covered in blood and lighting a cigarette. Here, she's dragged back into a deadly contest of wealth, power, and family tradition. But this time, she has her sister, Faith, who she hasn't seen for about 7 years. She's played by Catherine Newton. And she finds herself again in the same kind of scenario. This time around, we have some added Elijah Wood, who is absolutely brilliant in this. He's almost like a master of ceremonies here. He's the guy who knows all of the rules of this kind of old satanic ritual, and he gets people to sign things, and he literally knows the inside out of the traditions and of how the game is played. We've got Sarah Michelle Gellar, who is fabulous. Buffy herself, she's also part of this old family, and a bunch of other sort of and unsavory characters. Again, in this new installment, we get the same kind of thing where they are chased by a group of family, and every time one of them dies, then the second oldest person in the family has to replace that person. So they're like a group of families. Anyway, like it's all sort of like a bunch of nonsense, really, if you think about it. I wasn't so keen on this, I'm afraid. I liked it. I think it's good, but it's not like, it's nowhere near as good as the first one. I loved the first one because it had that kind of element of surprise. I love that I love films that don't give the sense that they are going to be supernatural and until something really extraordinary happened halfway through. We lost that kind of surprise element in this, and it feels like there are not enough twists in this. It just falls back into the same old sort of like, let's kill people in most ridiculous ways. And there are some very silly sort of deaths. And I guess there are some good one-liners. But in the end, I generally don't think it's a patch on the first one. Elijah Wood is probably the best thing in it. Samara Weaving, I think she's fabulous again. So it is entertaining. It is well acted. It does like occasionally remind you why the concept of sort of supernatural horror works, supernatural comedy horror works, but it never really recaptures that kind of really sort of really clever premise of the original. Again, Weaving and is great, and Catherine Newton, I felt like she was there just for the company. I don't understand. She adds absolutely nothing to the story. Not Catherine Newton herself. She's brilliant. I love her, and I think she plays her sister. I think she's a wonderful actress. I felt like her character did not add anything to the story. It was, we could have just had Grace, Samara Weaving's character, just do the whole thing over again without the added member of her family. I don't understand what she was doing there. And then I kept waiting for another twist towards the end. I mean, like some weird shit happens at the end, but at the same time, it feels like there's something missing. I was waiting for that kind of moment. Like the extraordinary moment for the last one was that once she gets to a point where she has more or less killed everyone in the first one, and she's like the only two survivors are two members of the family. When she doesn't even have to kill them because they explode in front of her, because that's how it happens. If the bride wins, the family members all die, and I kept waiting for that kind of element as well, like just some kind of twist, but it never really happened. It's fine, people are going to go and see it. People are going to love it because the first one was very popular, and I can see them making a third and a fourth and a fifth. And there are loads of elements, as I said. I mean, I did say it had sort of, it had some kind of like shades of Knives Out and like films of that ilk, but at the same time it doesn't have the script is just not good enough, I'm afraid. And I also felt like Sarah Michelle Gellar, who I absolutely adore, and was really looking forward to seeing her in this, and she is really badass in this. She's like part of this, her and her twin are sort of yin and yang of each other. He's really evil, and she's kind of the smarter twin, and they're in the middle of this kind of like they must win this game, otherwise they will lose the chance of being the head of the sort of this community they're part of. At the same time, it was always nice. It's always nice to see her in anything, but I felt like she was really let down, but she wasn't given enough to do. And I think if you have Sarah Michelle Gellar, and knowing that Buffy Vampire Slayer fans are going to be watching this, because they really come out in support for her every time she's in anything. I feel like could have given her something a bit more, fulfilling to do. Having said that, this is probably it may not be at number one, because probably a Project Hail Mary will be at number one like next week. I could be wrong, but this is going to make money regardless of anything. It's fun, it is what it is. It's perfectly serviceable, but it's not brilliant.
Okay. It's funny, as as you were saying that Sarah Michelle Gellar plays a twin. I was going to say, oh, is she playing both parts? But then you said he, so presumably not. Yeah, as I said, I've no recollection of the original coming out at all. My first introduction to this was seeing the trailer for this one, and I don't know why. For some reason, something about Elijah Wood in the trailer gave me sort of Hugh Grant in what was it called, Heretic?
Yeah, very much
Right?
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's like, he saves it for me, he's the most likable in it. He's the most likable person in it. Obviously, apart from the protagonists, he is part of that kind of world, but you kind of like him, and it's impossible not to like Elijah Wood.
Well, absolutely. Even when he's playing a football thug. But what really intrigued me, I don't know why this has always intrigued me about films, and as I say, I don't really know why, because there's nothing fantastical about it, but David Cronenberg's in it acting, and I always find it fascinating seeing directors playing roles in films, like John Huston turning up in he's in Chinatown, isn't he, and others, and then you had David Lynch playing John Huston in Spielberg's last film, and Fabelmans, yeah, and I don't know, I always really like.
I really like it, and God, who was it? Someone is in Marty Supreme. Oh God, who is it?
Carl Reiner and Rob Reiner used to turn up playing parts as well. That was good.
Yeah.
Especially Carl, he was excellent.
Abel Ferreira. Abel Ferreira, the director, is in Marty Supreme. I think I kind of like that about Hollywood, and I like that about when you get a really good screenplay. Even the best people can't say no, and I think that's more to do with the directors asking someone they admire to be part of it, and them saying, yeah, I'm happy to do it. And I just think that's really lovely,
Absolutely. And yeah, you mentioning it sort of it triggering a memory of Knives Out, to jump back to me talking about How to Make a Killing, that really gave me Knives Out vibes, because I was listening to another podcast, dare I say, during the week, and they were talking about Knives Out. I know, outrageous, traitorous behavior, but they were talking about Knives Out and saying that it's what it's inspired other films that like it, and I really got that feeling from How to Make a Killing, that was made because of the influence of Knives Out and the success.
I think this is even more like that. I think How to Make. I never thought How to Make a Killing. Okay, How to Make a Killing obviously did have like other things that it, obviously inspired, but loosely based on Ken Hutton coronets, but I really did feel like this had a lot more to do with Knives Out, because these films are really in sort of in fashion, if you want to say that at the moment, and it's just an excuse to have loads of really sort of talented actors sort of overacting, and I think it is what it is. I'm actually quite surprised it didn't have bigger names in it, apart from Sarah Michelle Gellar and the usual suspects. So yeah. Anyway.
Well, fair enough. Excellent. Well, that's a possible if you're heading to the box office this weekend. Thank you very much, Linda. Excellent stuff. And let's move on now to the movie news.
Meet me in the foyer.
And in the movie news, we have a trailer for Obsession, a horror from Curry Barker, due in cinemas on May 15th.
One wish, Willow. You only get one wish. I wish Nikki Freeman loved me more than anyone in the entire world.
I love you so much.
Do you still think I'm pretty?
Emily Blunt and Cillian Murphy have been confirmed as returning for A Quiet Place 3. They've been joined by new cast members Jack O'Connell, Katie O'Brien and Jason Clarke. And that's due in cinemas July 30th, 2027.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Jack O'Connell does. I think he's fabulous, and
he's an amazing actor, isn't he?
I just think he's great.
But for a film coming out this year starring Emily Blunt, we have a new trailer for Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day, due in cinemas on June 12th.
My God, I'm so excited.
Looking forward to that one very much.
What did you steal?
Secrets. The data they paid me to protect.
Are they people?
No.
Good morning, Kansas City. Let's take a look at today. Today's.
Do you understand what she's saying?
I hear her. It's gibberish. I can't understand it.
And I can.
What's happening to me?
People are starved for the truth.
I'm a part of it now. I'm just sorry that they made you a part of it too.
Hello, Jane. Please. Have a seat.
This 79-year terror campaign of lies has to end.
What are you gonna do?
Full disclosure to the whole world.
That truth will upend all established order across the entire world. If you do this, there's no undoing it.
Why would they do this?
When the time is right, everything will become clear.
Whatever happens, don't you let go.
There have been what feel like inevitable changes in the Ocean's prequel movie, as Bradley Cooper has taken over as director, writer, and star, with Lee Isaac Chung departing. And Ocean's 14, with the majority of the original cast returning, is still coming too. So if you're an Ocean's fan, it's good news for you. We have a trailer for new Keanu Reeves movie starring movie from Jonah Hill. That's Outcome, which is due to stream on Apple on April 10th.
Reef Hawk. For the last 4 decades, America's favorite movie star. Starring in 3 of the biggest franchises in film history. You've had 5 years off. I mean, how are you going to frame the 5 years thing?
I won't say that I was hiding a heroin addiction from the public, and that my best friends and my insane lawyer helped me cover it up for years.
That is a really smart omission.
Strong omission.
Today I walk
down the street I used to wander. Yeah.
Bubby and Tyra, we got a big problem.
There's a video.
What's on it?
I have no idea.
I need to know everyone who hates you. You need to go and apologize to them. And without them realizing it, feel out if they're the ones behind the video.
Who hates me?
Your old manager, your old trainer, your new trainer, your old pool guy, your old pool guys, your mom. Your mom hates you. Then I have like a separate list for like directors, actors, costume designers, hair and makeup people, craft service, whatever, and like executives that you've worked with if you want me to start on that.
Jesus Christ.
Now I'd like to introduce you to your new crisis team.
I pray to God you didn't say the word on that video.
What? No.
I know, he knows, we know.
You know, brother. But if you did, we're gonna hold hands and walk through the fire together, my brother.
I brush my shoes, and I hung from the rearview mirror.
Can I ask you something, Reef?
Of course.
What are you sorry for?
How do I put this the right way? You're not a good person.
There was all these...
Mom, I have a lot to apologize to you for.
Sorry. Can we try that one more time, hon? The label wasn't cheated towards camera, and that was such a great emotional moment. I'm so touched, genuinely.
You're Reef Hawk.
Reef Hawk.
Reef Hawk.
Reef Hawk.
I wish you cared about what we thought of you, Reef, more than a bunch of people on the internet.
Why did you stay my friend? Why are you still here?
I ordered food and I already paid for it on the app.
The day I walked down the street I used to wander. Yeah, shook my...
What even is an apology, Reef? Is it for you? Is it for me?
There was all these...
Isn't an apology just a show also?
Are you ready? We're already started.
How lucky can one man get?
Oh,
Yep, straight to stream.
I heard anything about that.
Yes, it's the comeback from Jonah Hill with the ever young Keanu Reeves starring in it. And Billie Eilish is in talks to take the lead.
Eilish.
Yes, that's also correct. Billie Eilish is in talks to take the lead in an adaptation of Sylvia Plath's The Bell Jar, with Sarah Pooley set to direct. And in other casting news, Kate Winslet has signed up to play the female lead in Andy Serkis's Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum. She joins many returning stars, including Ian McKellen, Elijah Wood again, and Andy Serkis. And there are rumours that Leo Woodall and Anya Taylor-Joy may also join the cast. And that's due to hit cinemas again in 2027. But that's December 2027, so a long time to wait for that one. And we also have a trailer for Denis Villeneuve's Dune Part 3, starring Timothée Chalamet, due to hit the cinemas this December on the 18th.
If we have a girl, what will we name her?
Her name should be Ganima. She would need to be strong, like her mother. What if it's a boy?
I would name him Leto. So he would have the wisdom of his grandfather.
War feeds on itself. The more I fight, the more our enemies fight back. I'm doing the best I can to protect my family. How did Father do it?
Your father never started a war.
to die. But I must not die. Yet.
I have watched the trailer maybe 20 times so far, and it just looks incredible.
Okay.
Absolutely incredible. I just cannot wait. And I think it's going to be the best one of the three. And it feels so much darker, so much more grandiose. It just looks incredible. And that Hans Zimmer score, just, yeah, I can't wait. It's December. It can't come soon enough for me.
Don't wish away the summer, Linda.
Coming up the same day as Doomsday as well, which is kind of weird. I wish it wasn't. I wish they wouldn't do that, to be honest.
Yes.
But I get it. I understand why.
I love the first one. I wasn't that taken with the second one, I have to say. So yeah, interested to see what happens in part three, the Jesus Chronicles, as it were.
It's going to be incredible. I just know. I just know I'm going to love it.
Maybe it'll be finally time for Timothy's Oscar after part three comes out.
Poor old Timmy.
And talking of Oscars, we couldn't end the news without discussing the Academy Awards. Any thoughts, Linda, from the evening?
There wasn't anything that really surprised me, and I kind of knew that Timothy Chalamet wasn't going to win after the horrible sort of, salacious nonsense that was manufactured against him to not win. Kind of happy with everyone that won. It would have been really good to see Timothy Chalamet win. However, being someone who loves his acting, I'm almost happy that he didn't win, because that means he still has a better performance in him. If not in June 3, it'll be in some really outlandish, out there movie, and sooner or later he's gonna come up with a performance that no one is gonna be able to ignore, regardless whether you like him or not.
Yeah.
I just think he's wonderful, and everyone needs to grow up and stop canceling people over nonsense.
It was incredibly thin gruel, as they say. I wondered what the cancellation was, and then I realized I'd already read the story and just couldn't believe that it was founded on him saying that people don't watch ballet and opera anymore.
It's incredible.
It's like
it's a storm in a teacup.
Yeah, the guy shared an opinion. It's not like he said he's bigger than Jesus. No,
not allowed an opinion in 2026. You're not allowed to have an opinion that is not supported by the majority of people. There's no gray area. You're either with us or against us. I absolutely hate this era we're living in. And I'm finding the film discourse so absolutely violent, disgusting, that it doesn't make me want to follow anyone that talks or comments about film on the internet. I just want to stay in my own corner, do my own thing. I do not want to converse with people who this week they're canceling this person, next week they'll be canceling the other person. It's all very flimsy. It's all sort of childish nonsense.
Yeah.
And I was so angry at the insults that were thrown at him during the ceremony, and the way he was treated during the ceremony. Whether people think it's funny or not, I didn't think it was very funny. This is a guy who's at 30 has already been nominated for 3 Best Male Oscars, and he's proved himself over and over and over again, and he's going to prove himself over and over and over again. And if anyone was worried about June 3 not doing as well as the first 2, the reaction from film fans has shown us exactly that it doesn't matter what the internet thinks of you. If you're a decent person, and I think he is a decent person, none of that matters, really. Most
Absolutely.
important thing is that he's a really good actor. He was in a fantastic movie, one of the best movies of the year. And for me, um, award shows have become so ridiculously like outlandish and almost like a popularity competition rather than about the movies. And he's probably better off not winning it anyway. So
Yeah, yeah. It's funny, isn't it? 'Cause, I mean, he is a very cool guy, but he's not cool in the same way that like Leonardo DiCaprio is. He has a real sort of nerd cool about him, Chalamet, and that's fine. I'm absolutely all for that. But I think that's why people, the sort of toxic macho field group on the internet are all like, oh, look at this nerd. And it's like, what are you talking about? He's an actor. He's a
yeah,
fabulous actor. He's such a great, and he seems like, as you've said previously, seems like such a great guy
yeah.
that,
And Leo also went through this very similar thing where he kept getting nominated for stuff and not winning it just
mm,
because people took against him, and and when he eventually won it, he won it for pretty much the wrong thing. But yeah, I just find the whole discourse. I call it Sunday film. Like it's Oscar season film fans,
yeah.
people who are not film fans the rest of the year, people who only get interested in cinema when it comes to the Oscars, who haven't seen any of the movies, who just want to discuss controversies and gossip. And I don't want to listen to those people. I have no interest, and they're not part of my community in any way, shape or form.
Absolutely. Stay here with the rational minds on Meet Me in the Foyer.
Mm.
And absolutely, Timothy's time will come. Yeah, overall, I felt it was a pretty forgettable, bland year in the actual show. Nothing controversial happened, nothing particularly hilarious. The set was awful. Conan was pretty good, made a couple of edgy jokes, but not that edgy.
I thought the
Um,
jokes were awful, really.
yeah, it made me laugh a couple of times, but there were some really clunky bits, especially the song.
Mhm.
Uh, I didn't think much of it was Javier Bardem, wasn't it, who said "Free Palestine," which was a nice gesture, but then looked incredibly smug after saying it.
I love Javier Bardem.
So do I, but he looks so pleased with himself for having said "Free Palestine" and then just moved on. It was like a bit weak. But yeah, overall, a non-spectacular year. So to our predictions and the results. Um, well, why don't I just go through? I'll go through what I predicted correctly, and then what Linda predicted correctly, and then we'll work out who came out on top. So I managed to correctly predict the casting Oscar that went to One Battle of Another. I also predicted the cinematography Oscar that went to Sinners, the editing Oscar that went to One Battle After Another, the sound Oscar that went to F1. I also predicted the makeup awards that went to Frankenstein, and as did the costume award. And I also correctly predicted the international film, which went to sentimental value. I also, surprisingly for us, I think, predicted correctly the supporting male actor Oscar, which went to Sean Penn, who once again didn't turn up to collect it.
Good.
And
You know why he didn't turn up?
because they don't like him.
No, because he was meeting with Vladimir Zelensky
Oh,
in
really?
Ukraine. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay,
He's
fair
been
enough.
working very closely with Zelensky on sort of, helping, you know, get the message on Ukraine. So he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Absolutely. And then I also, in a surprise result, correctly predicted the best leading actor going to Michael B. Jordan, which, I'm not. You said just previously that Leo won for the wrong film. I'm not entirely convinced that the role of in Sinners is an Oscar-worthy
Absolutely
performance.
not. I
Um,
keep saying Michael B. Jordan isn't even the best actor in Sinners, let alone. Uh, I I've never rated him. I think he's fine as an actor. Um, is he better than Leo? Is he better than Timothée Chalamet? Absolutely not. You know,
No.
I'm sorry, but I think he won because people got to a point where people just had enough of Timothée Chalamet winning everything, and they didn't want to give him the Oscar, and that's that. And this is where we've got to in this kind of ridiculous Oscar award season. I just absolutely hate it. By the time we get to the Oscars, like every year I say this, every year I get so annoyed because by the time we get to the Oscars, it's almost like this kind of like a narrative has been built. And there are winners and losers beforehand, and people build their own narratives on who they want to uplift and who they want to push down. And unfortunately, or fortunately for Sinners, it's a great movie, absolutely fabulous movie. I just don't think Michael B. Jordan was a great performance. You know.
No, I have to agree. Which means moving over to Linda's successes. Linda correctly predicted that Frankenstein would win for production design, that K-pop Demon Hunters would win the animation Oscar, that Avatar would win the visual effects Oscar, that Sinners would win the best score, that K-pop would win the best song, that Marty Supreme would win that Sinners would win best screenplay because Marty managed to leave the Oscars empty-handed. That One Battle After Another would win best adapted screenplay. That Paul Thomas Anderson would win best director. That Amy Madigan would win best supporting actress. That Jessie Buckley would win best leading actress, and that best picture would go to One Battle After Another.
And I think I also predicted best song to a K-pop Demon Hunter.
Yes, that's quite right. Yeah, which means overall it was 11-9 to Linda in successful predictions. So yes, critics' chair still yours for another year, Linda. No worries.
Look, I should have just said that Michael B. Jordan was going to win because I really knew he was going to win. I was just hoping that Timothy might win, but like I'm not disappointed he didn't win. I just feel like. What are we doing here? You know, is it about the best performance, or is it about who had the best campaign and who's been cancelled during the campaign? It's so ridiculous. It's so stupid. It's moronic the way the whole. It's what's the word? It's spectacle. It's like it's pantomime.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Well, I mean, and that's the Oscars, isn't it? And especially Hollywood. But so that's our roundup of the Academy Awards for 2026 and the conclusion of the news for this week. Congratulations to Linda for a solid victory, and an Oscar statuette is on her way to her right.
Yeah.
Meet me in the foyer.
Right, time for another review, I think. And all hail Linda as she brings us a review of the new film from Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, another film with the twin directors. They last brought us 22 Jump Street and the Lego Movie in 2014. This time they bring us a sci-fi adventure starring Ryan Gosling. So let's pass the floor over to Linda to begin her new project, Project Hail Mary.
The sun is dying. Dr. Grace, I need your help.
I am a teacher at Grover Cleveland Middle.
You have a doctorate in molecular biology.
I'm not an astronaut. I've never done a spacewalk. I can't even moonwalk. I haven't done the pool thing.
No. This is just for social media.
Object approaching.
Oh my God. So, I met an alien. I'm Grace. I'm gonna call you Rocky. His son is dying too. If we're gonna save our planet, we have to learn how to communicate.
Why is a school teacher in space? Don't like that voice.
Nope.
I am Rocky.
That's not bad.
Amazing.
Welcome to the Hail Mary.
Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome, Dr. Grace.
Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome, Rocky.
Together, we're pretty smart.
The world is counting on you.
It's now or never. So I have a new roommate.
Who is Grace talking to?
There's no way you can hear me right now.
Can hear.
Oh my God. I'm not heroic.
You just need to find someone to be brave for.
You are bravest human I have ever met. Is joke. I only meet one human, and is you.
I get it.
I've been looking forward to this film for such a long time. Actually, since I've read the book. I'm a huge fan of Andy Weir's Project Hail Mary book, and I also was a fan of The Martian. And these are two books that have both been adapted into film, and both did really really beautifully done. Actually, with one, The Martian was starred Matt Damon as an astronaut stuck on Mars, and who has somehow bring, because we keep being told that it's a one-way trip, Mars. If you go to Mars, that's it. Prepare to never come back, because it is literally impossible to come back. Yet Matt Damon finds a way. I was so excited for this, and I have to say I was not disappointed. As soon as I knew that Ryan Gosling was going to be starring as Dr. Ryan Grace, I knew I was in good hands. I loved Ryan Gosling in First Man. It's a more serious space movie. It's about the moon landing, and Damien Chazelle's movie about the moon landing. Just absolutely fabulous movie. One of my favorite movies of all time. It's in my top 10. That you can see on the BFI, and I will die on this hill. It's one of the best movies about the space race ever made. It's so brilliant. It's so well done. It's so gorgeously directed and beautifully acted by Ryan Gosling. Here, the story begins where Dr. Ryan Grace, who is played by Ryan Gosling, as I said, he awakens on board a spacecraft millions of miles away from Earth. He has no memory of who he is or why he's there. Gradually, though, fragments of sort of memories start coming back to him, and recollections, and all of those memories are played side by side in sort of flashbacks. And it's here that we learn that he's not just an astronaut. He's actually a professor of astrophysics that's been sent to the Charles SETI system to save humanity from catastrophe. Because what's happening is that our sun, is dimming, and they don't actually know why it's dimming. So what follows is an absorbing sort of mixture. I'm not going to bore you with all the details, because it's actually, I don't want to give anything away unless you've read the book. You'll know what the setup is. What follows an absorbing mixture of scientific puzzles, and then some really touching stuff between Dr. Ryan Grace and this alien he ends up meeting just outside the Tau Ceti system, and with whom he ends up working to find a solution, because their sun is also dimming because of whatever is happening. Sandra Hüller, also, who we know from a number of European movies, including Anatomy of a Fall a few years ago. Fabulous movie, did really well in award season as well. Sandra Hüller is incredible. She's like the head of this the Project Hail Mary. She's someone who recruits him, doesn't really give him a choice to choose. He's basically grabbed and recruited because some years before that he had made a prediction, a scientific prediction that was laughed at, and he decided to stop research and become a science teacher instead in a primary school. And he's had to sort of be grabbed back and sort of included in this Project Hail Mary because he's very clever, and people she trusts his way of thinking because he thinks outside the box. He's very he's scientific calculations are very controversial. However, he's the only person able to think in that way. So other than Sandra, so Rocky is voiced by James Ortiz, and then the during we witness growing friendship between Rocky and Grace, and they become they learn sort of to speak each other's language and somehow work together to be able to find a solution. The rest of it is just, I mean, there are some incredible practical effects here, and that looks so incredible, so beautiful, just so well done. The cinematography is just incredible. The score is out of this world. Ryan Gosling is funny, likable, just we know who Ryan Gosling is. We don't really need to sort of to add anything more. I think this is a triumphant science fiction adventure. It manages to be smart without alienating people who don't really know too much about science, and heartfelt without falling into the overly sentimental. It does everything the right way, and it's fun, funny, touching. It made me laugh, made me cry, and it made me wish there were more movies like this. It's obviously an expensive movie, however, and it's quite long. It's over 2 hours long, 2 hours and 35 minutes, I think. But I just absolutely loved it. It's exactly what I was expecting from this. And as I say, I read the book as soon as it came out, and I reread it again just before the movie came. Like I think in the last 6 months, I reread it again, and I just love his writing. I love the way he manages to sort of use scientific language and very accurate scientific language, as well as be able to appeal to people who don't really know about science. I think this is incredible. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars in my written review, and I'm going to do the same here. Go and see it. This is the film to go and see this week, and if you don't, you're missing out.
Fabulous. No, I'm hugely excited to see this myself. I've said this before. It feels like we're really living in a time of wonderful, serious sci-fi. There have been some great films like The Martian, Gravity, Interstellar, Moon, some really good, serious sci-fi. So it's sort of science fiction, but really based in the science side, and this looks great. And
I love a space movie. Like
Yeah.
I genuinely I think that's my favorite sci-fi genre. Yeah.
Yes. The only dud, just thinking, I don't know why it popped into my head just then,
Yeah.
was Ad Astra. I didn't think much of that one.
Oh, I
But,
like that Ad
did
Astra.
you? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm a big fan of the director. It's
Right.
it's a philosophical movie rather than anything else.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Very much. Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of his like writing and direction.
Fair enough.
And I understand why it didn't gel with everyone. I get it, but at the same time, I really loved that movie. I thought it was so well done by him.
Fair
I know
enough.
it's not a popular movie, and it is a film about, like I said, this an existential sort of
Yeah.
crisis type of movie. So it's not like the narrative isn't sort of like a run-of-the-mill narrative, and I get that many people might not gel with it.
Mm. I mean, although the fight scene on the moon or on the moon buggies was quite good, but yeah. I mean, and this guy, he's only written 3/4 books, Andy Weir, and it's the Martian, Project Hail Mary, and Artemis. Before Project Hail Mary and Artemis has been brought up by these directors to make into a film as well. So
Yeah.
absolutely
Exciting stuff.
huge success. And it's interesting as well. We mentioned, or I've mentioned it a couple of times now, How to Make a Killing, and there's been a lot of murmurings about Glenn Powell as a leading man over the last couple of years, because they're clearly his career is clearly leading him into that direction, and people are pushing him into that direction as being one of the new great leading men. I'm not sold on him, but there were the same murmurings about Ryan Gosling, and equally, I wasn't convinced at the beginning of his career. I thought, no, this guy's not got it at all. But I've been absolutely turned around over the following years with Blade Runner and the Stuntman, and
I'm a huge Ryan Gosling
he's
fan.
absolutely fabulous. He's
Absolutely
really
huge Ryan
brilliant.
Gosling fan. Like for me, nobody can touch him. And do you know why? I think it's because he can be a leading man, but he's also extremely likable. Like men
Yeah.
also love him. He's not just good looking and sort of like, leading man, kind of like a attractive kind of leading man. He's also someone that men really relate to because he's very natural and very funny and likable, and yeah.
Yeah, he's extremely funny, and he does a really nice blend of mainstream big cinema and sort of independent art house type stuff. He's got it all, really.
Have you seen him in Half Nelson? That is a really good movie. He plays a teacher in that as well.
I don't think I've seen that one. No,
You must see that. Yeah.
I think the film that started to really convince me was Lars and the Real Girl.
Oh,
That really sort of started to make me think, oh, hang on, yeah, this guy's got a lot, and of course he was in Barbie as well. So, I know it's controversial to say, but I think he absolutely stole Barbie, right, which is unfortunate for a film called Barbie. But of course, what's the one he did with Shane Black, The Nice Guys, which again I wasn't too sure about at first, but I keep watching it, and the more I watch it, the more I like it. So
in La La Land, I loved him in La La Land. Loved La La Land.
Yeah.
I'm a huge La La Land fan. Lots of people don't like it. I'm a huge fan. I'm a big Damien Chazelle fan, and I think Damien Chazelle has not made a bad movie. He's made the movie that I was disappointed with in Babylon, but he hasn't made a bad movie. And I think he one day is going to make the best movie of the decade. And I look forward to that movie.
Absolutely. He's got such talent and enthusiasm. Well, fabulous. I'm very, very excited to see that now. And as Linda said, go see it. It's 5 stars. That's your choice for the week. Thank you very much, Linda.
It's a long movie though. Just be warned, and see it on IMAX.
More to enjoy. Yes,
Yeah.
that's a very good suggestion. Absolutely.
See it on IMAX. Don't go and see it on a smallish screen. It won't work.
Fabulous.
Meet me in the foyer.
Right, time now for another of Jawa's classic movie moments. And this week we're heading back to the same year as Get Carter from last week. That's 1971, but more akin to my film from a fortnight ago. This week's classic is a film tied to and played a major part in my childhood. Like Hancock's Half Hour, this next comedy was a crucial part of my childhood. It remains my favourite TV show and features some beautiful writing and performing that has become overshadowed by catchphrases, slapstick, and being remembered for highlights that aren't representative of the production as a whole. The film is also another example of a British comedy moving from small to big screen, but perhaps this is one of the very few successful examples. Enough preamble, stand to attention, stomachs in, chests out. I shall now address you on the subject of tonight's lecture, the Dad's Army movie from 1971.
The time is World War II, when the free world was threatened by a maniacal dictator. When the skies over England were harassed by a ruthless enemy, hell-bent on our destruction. A time of crisis that cried out for a man to match the hour. Another Drake, a George Washington, another Churchill.
Spring, summer, autumn, or winter. Over the sea or out of the sky. Or up between our legs. Or up... Wherever they come from, we'll be ready for them.
Do you think you are kidding, Mr. Hitler, if you think we're on the run?
Now we've no arms, but we have one invaluable weapon in our armory. Ingenuity and improvisation. That's 2.
It was a time for men of ingenuity.
Oh, excuse me, Padre, I don't suppose you'd be interested in buying some petrol coupons.
The hour for innovation.
What's that supposed to be?
You said if we hadn't got anything else, we'd tie a carving knife to a broom handle.
I didn't mean that you were to leave the broom on the end of the handle, you stupid boy.
Dad's Army. Men of valor, men of courage, guardians of our survival. Meet them. Captain Mannering, Sergeant Wilson, Lance Corporal Jones.
Who do you think you are? We're the local defence volunteers, and I'm their appointed commander, Captain Mannering. And I must ask you to keep your hands off my privates.
And the privates, God bless them. Fraser, Walker, Godfrey, Pike.
Uncle Arthur must be a very light sleeper, Mum.
How am I?
When I came down this morning for the milk, his bed hardly looked slept in.
And the women behind the men.
You shouldn't have had that joint the weekend.
No, well, you know what my husband is, Mr. Jones. I mean, he will insist on his little bit of brisket.
Right, get Philip. Get up with somebody, start it off!
The war took 6 of the best years of the lives of millions. Now you know why.
Right, so this might be considered a bit niche. If you're not a Dad's Army fan, I can forgive you for not wanting to watch the Dad's Army movie. That's completely understandable. But I shall take you through it anyway, and maybe I can convince you. So the Dad's Army movie, as I said, came out in 1971. It was directed by Norman Cohen. It was written by Jimmy Perry and David Croft, who wrote the TV series, and was the first film adaptation of that television series that ran from 1968 to 1977. It was filmed between series 3 and 4, and it's based upon material from the early episodes from the first 3 series, and tells the story of the Home Guard platoon, their formation, and their subsequent endeavours at a training exercise. So it's 1940, Operation Dynamo has just taken place, and from the newly conquered French coastline, a Wehrmacht colonel looks over the English Channel with powerful binoculars. Surveying the white cliffs of Dover, he spies Godfrey emerging from a lavatory. Godfrey joins the rest of the platoon, who are defiantly waving a Union flag. The colonel fumes contemptuously. How can these stupid British ever hope to win? Then, the following morning, George Mannering, the manager of Warmington-on-Sea branch of Martin's Bank, and his chief clerk, Arthur Wilson, listen to Anthony Eden making a radio broadcast about forming the local defence volunteers, the LDV. At the local police station, chaos ensues because there is nobody to organise the enrolment of the men. Characteristically, Mannering takes charge, and after commandeering the local church hall, he registers the assembled volunteers with weapons being inspected. So, yes, that's the beginning and opening of the film. As I say, it goes right back to the start and establishes how the Home Guard were formed and how these band of this ramshackle band of pensioners and weedy young boys become a Home Guard platoon in Warmington-on-Sea, a fictional town just near Eastbourne on the south coast. It stars Arthur Lowe as Captain Mannering, John Le Mesurier as Sergeant Wilson, Clive Dunn as Corporal Jones, John Laurie as Private Fraser, James Beck as Private Walker, Arnold Ridley as Private Godfrey, Ian Lavender as Private Pike, Liz Fraser as Mrs. Pike, Bill Pertwee as Warden Hodges, Frank Williams as the Vicar, and Edward Sinclair as the Verger. And all of those actors are reprising their roles from the TV series, with the exception of Liz Fraser, who plays Mrs. Pike, who was portrayed by Janet Davis in the TV series, and had the unlucky, or sort of the misfortune, I should say, to be replaced by the Columbia Pictures head honchos, who decided they wanted a, quote, sexier actor in the role. A huge mistake. Jimmy Perry has said that it was a terrible mistake because the audiences had come to expect Janet Davis, and I have to I have to admit, all of us boys who watched Dad's Army growing up had a crush on Janet Davis playing Mrs. Pike, because she was Sergeant Wilson's love interest. She was Private Pike's mum. She just was sort of, I don't know, she was like a sort of a figure that we all fell in love with. And I understand wanting big names in a film, and there isn't much room for recasting when you're moving a series like this with these established actors. But to just recast one is just wrong. And Liz Fraser, as wonderful as she is, And the previously mentioned Hancock always considered her a good luck charm and cast her in everything he did. She doesn't quite work in the role. Um, she's a bit too glam. She's not bad, but she just, yeah, it doesn't quite work. But otherwise, it's, I think it's a really, really good adaptation. I didn't like it as a child. It's got a much more serious tone. Right from the beginning, the score is fabulous throughout. It sort of weaves through the different locations. It's got this sort of beating military tone for when the Germans are on screen. It's got a sort of nostalgic music hall quality when the British are on screen. It's very period. It works fantastically well. It really sort of guides you through the film. Um, but as I say, the film is much more serious. It's darker. It shows the Germans, which you don't see very much of in the series. Um, it it uses news footage over the opening titles, which the early series of the television show did as well, although they did move away from that after the third series. Um, so, as I say, as a child, I was a bit like, oh, well, this isn't the Dad's Army I know. They aren't pratfalling as much. The sets are realistic. There's a lot of location shooting. It's shot on film. But as I've got older and rewatched it, I think it's a fabulous adaptation. It's so true and faithful to the original, apart from that one change. That I think it's a really sort of, it really honors the TV series, unlike the horrific film from 2016, which is just an absolute abomination. But I'll come back to that. So there were a few other changes. They changed the locations. They don't shoot in Thetford. They shoot in Chalfont St Giles. So the street looks different, but it's a gorgeous little town they shoot in. You know, sort of your archetypal, you're almost Jane Marple style English village, with your little shops and your shopkeepers and the ice cream seller, and yeah, just it's a gorgeous location and really, really works. For some reason, they changed the name of the bank that Mannering and Wilson and Pike work in from Swallows to Martins, although that was actually the original name of the bank in the TV series before they changed it. So yeah, not quite sure. They also didn't use the same vehicles as in the TV series, but that's because the BBC owned the license on those and wouldn't allow the film makers to use them for some reason. Short-sightedness, I guess, of the BBC as usual. I mean, the film's got a really low ranking on Rotten Tomatoes. It's only got a 31% ranking, which I think is outrageous. As I say, if you're not a Dad's Army lover, maybe you're not going to watch this and think, "Oh my God, this is fabulous! I have to watch all 9 series." But I think it's wonderful. I think it's funny. I think it portrays the war wonderfully well, and it has a really good balance of drama and comedy. Now, I normally give sort of one critic their review, and it's normally Roger Ebert, but of course Roger didn't review this. I don't think this did anything in America. So, but this week I'm actually going to mention 3 because they really staggered me when I read them. So, Monthly Film Bulletin wrote, a reliable method of luring the public away from its television sets and back to the cinema is to remold successful TV series for the big screen. Dad's Army, like Till Death Us Do Part, has been done over in this way, with the usual loss of intimacy and subtlety of characterization with the leisure of a weekly series allows. In this case, grooming for the cinema means the introduction of coarsening and inflating elements which overwhelm, almost to extinction, the fragile nostalgic humour of the original. Now, as I said, I wasn't originally a fan of the change in tone, but I think that's so wide of the mark. I don't think it loses the subtlety and the fragile performance. I think Lowe and Le Mesurier are one of the greatest double acts in comedy ever. They work so well together, and their performances are as good here as they are in the TV series. As I said at the top, I think the TV series is misremembered by people for pratfalls and catchphrases, and if you actually watch it, the acting is just heartbreaking at times. Just so good. There's an episode called Mum's Army where women are introduced to the platoon, and they do a spoof of Brief Encounter, and it's some of the greatest acting I've ever seen. So I think he's well wide of the mark there. The Radio Times guide to films, David Parkinson, gave it 3 out of 5 stars and said As with so many other TV spin-offs, the producers couldn't resist tinkering with the winning formula, and here we are treated to Nazi invasion of Warmington-on-Sea that is somewhat at odds with the cosy incompetence that made the series so irresistible. But it's still great fun and always a pleasure to see such gifted character work. Now, again, that's totally wrong because they actually faced the Nazis on multiple occasions throughout the TV series. I would guess about half a dozen times they meet parachutists, a bomber crashes in the reservoir, there's a pilot hanging off the clock tower, they meet Italian prisoners of war, and most famously, they meet a captured submarine crew. So, it just feels like another review from someone who hasn't actually bothered to watch the thing that they're reviewing. And then finally, Leslie Halliwell wrote a pleasant souvenir, but rather less effective than was expected because everything is shown, the town, the Nazis, the wives, and thus the air of gentle fantasy disappears, especially in the face of much coarsened humour. And again, I'm forced to disagree. I don't think the humour is coarsened, and I don't think this person watched the film because the wives aren't in it. As with the TV series, one of the great jokes of Dad's Army was Mrs. Mannering is one of those great characters from comedy that is always referred to but never seen. Very much like in Minder, you never see her upstairs, or it's a slightly odd reference this one, but in the cartoon series Muppet Babies, you never saw Nanny, you just saw her feet, very much like in Tom and Jerry. So what this critic saw, I don't know, but they're completely wide of the mark. So back to my review, not theirs. So they did consider making a sequel, Dad's Army in the Secret U-Boat Base, but that never came to fruition. They did make, as I said earlier, a remake in 2016, which does use part of that U-boat plot, and it's just awful. It reveals those wives that didn't need to be revealed. It changes character and plot lore, and I think a lot of the actors are miscast in it. I do give credit to Toby Jones, Bill Nye, Blake Harrison, Michael Gambon, and Daniel Mays. I think they are well cast and are excellent in it. But other than that, I would say no. Terrible, terrible film. So yeah, as I say, more serious tone, real World War II footage. It captures the period wonderfully. I think it makes a lot of play and a lot of humour out of the might of the German army versus the sort of Heath Robinson, scatty, workshop at home, shed inventors, and British pluck and ingenuity. Using at one point the Nazis say, "Oh, we've got 20,000 tanks. We'll head down to wherever," and you cut to the British saying, "I've rounded up 12 bicycles and we'll head down to the beach." So there's a juxtaposition all the time of the might of the Nazis and the sort of craziness of the Home Guard defending the country. It's got some lovely dialogue. There are some bits of slapstick which are great, some tiny touches of innuendo, but as I say, the characters are so well written and so beautifully played that they just feel real and believable, and so do the relationships. It's historically accurate. At times it feels very sort of similar in tone to the Battle of Britain, which I suppose is on purpose because they do actually use some stock footage from the Battle of Britain in the scenes of the German bombers. So just to round up, I think it works as an adventure for fans who have never seen Dad's Army. I think it works for fans who have seen Dad's Army because there's enough in it outside of reusing some plot elements from the early series, which are very rarely seen because they were lost for a long time. And as I say, I maybe haven't convinced you, if you're not a Dad's Army fan, to watch it, but give it a go. I think it's worth a watch. So that's my thoughts on Dad's Army. Stand easy and await further orders.
Well done. I'm kind of like a fan of the series, but it almost gives me anxiety thinking of the series because it was on a Sunday, and I used to get like the Sunday scaries,
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
So
Yeah.
it does have that kind of connotation going on with it. But I am a fan. I am a fan of the DVD. I can't say that I've seen either movies, I have to say.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
I do. As I say, I know I've banged on about it for 10 minutes, but I do think the 71 film is a good film, and it's made as well early enough that James Beck, who plays Walker, who's always my favorite character, is in it because he hadn't passed away at that point. So yeah, no, I think it's worth a watch. And
No, I will. I'm going to catch up on it, definitely. Yeah.
good, but yeah, don't bother with the remake. Not worth it.
I won't.
Right, well, it's time to polish off my bugle, but that's an awful glimpse into my private life. Instead, why don't I give my bugle a blow and signal the last post for this episode of Meet Me in the Foyer. You're free to return to your barracks and rest until we meet again in 7 days' time with a whole new movie project. Thank you very much to Linda for your excellent service. Another tour of duty complete. I can feel a promotion coming on for you. Maybe some pips on your shoulder. If you miss us over the next week, you can subscribe to our Patreon, listen again, hear all the full director's cuts of our shows, plus the specials and all the reviews. So until next time, Platoon, dismissed, and good night.
Adios.
Subscribe now to help fans supporting food banks. Go to patreon.com/rockandrollfootball and look for your favourite club subscription pages and sign up with your favourite presenter. Rock and Roll Football. No adverts, no VAR, no limits.
Meet me in the foyer.